Hello everyone and welcome to This Day. Today is Wednesday, July 5th and I'm Bobby Higgins. It's the day after the 4th of July. I hope you all had an enjoyable holiday. We have a great show for you today. Coming up is Golf Operations Manager Tom McCrae, and he's going to be talking with us about the summer golf conditions here in the village, the driving range restoration project, and also some updates on the garden center. After talking with Tom, we're going to hear from the Orange County Fire Authority with Larry Kurtz. Larry's going to give us a tour of a fire engine, show us all the equipment on the truck and what it's capable of. It's going to be I told you it's going to be a very hot summer here in the village, so we have a good show coming up for you. And that brings us to today's Stay Informed. You want to drive safe and drive longer. Coming up tomorrow, July 6th, is the Optimal Aging Lecture Series class. Speaker Camille Fitzpatrick will give some useful information regarding how aging can impact driving, plus some safety tips, DMV licensing procedures, and more. You don't want to miss that tomorrow, July 6th at 2:30 in Clubhouse 7. No registration required. And that brings us to today's weather. Today it's mostly sunny, though you can see the clouds are starting to give way to the sunshine. We'll have a high of 76. Tonight will be clear to partly cloudy and patchy fog after 11 p.m. with a low of 57. Tomorrow on Thursday, patchy fog before 11 a.m. and then mostly sunny with a high of 75. Patchy fog returns after 11 p.m. and increasing clouds. Friday, partly cloudy with a high of 74, and we'll keep having late night, early morning fog throughout the week. 75 with a low of 60 on Saturday and a high of 76 on Sunday with a low of 60 on Sunday. And that brings us to today's sunrise and sunset. I'm sure there were quite a few barbecues happening yesterday here in the village, so I thought this picture was perfect for today's sunrise and sunset. Sunrise is at 5:46 a.m. this morning and the sunset at 8:04 p.m. tonight. Love these long summer days. Stay with us because coming up after the break is Tom McCrae. But first, here's a look at today's meetings.
The Salvation Army Orange County is committed to building hope in people's lives rather than just more shelters. The Center of Hope, a comprehensive homeless care solution, combines a 325-bed emergency shelter, 72 permanent supportive housing apartments, on-site medical, dental, vision, and mental health care, and an award-winning drug and alcohol rehabilitation center. Donate today to transform lives, create safer neighborhoods, and provide an opportunity to end chronic homelessness in Orange County.
Hi there, we're Orange County Labs. Please call us today for your VIP concierge phlebotomist in-home lab collection appointment. We simply come to you in the safety and convenience of your very own home for any lab test. As a covered benefit at no cost to you, we will draw your blood for your physician with results the very next day. One call to Orange County Labs does it all. We look forward to seeing you all soon.
Oh, life, how we admire you, are deeply fascinated by you. All your twists and turns and wild rides you take us on. The ups and the downs. Life, you live inside all of us, breathing, growing, beating. You are the reason we'll always provide world-class healthcare. Providence, we see the life in you.
Dr. Vyas and the OCI Care staff believe in one-on-one care and the patient-physician relationship.
OCI Care was absolutely the most wonderful place I've ever been to as far as being taken care of.
The staff was very friendly and I felt very welcomed and relaxed.
How did I feel about Dr. Vyas? The man is very gentle, he is very caring, and totally involved with detail.
Do you want the government to take control of your assets and your legacy, or do you want to take control? Ellis Carlson Law is well positioned because we have a team of estate planning attorneys. You call us, we sit down with you, and we will define what is the customized estate plan that properly protects your legacy.
I'd like to personally thank Ellis Carlson Law for all my family's estate planning needs. I highly recommend them to everyone.
Hi, I'm Linda Honey. I'd be happy to help you and your family please call us today.
Hello, welcome back to This Day. Joining me now is Tom McCrae. Thank you for being here.
Thanks for having me.
So we were talking about the 4th of July, and I guess you were in Long Beach celebrating. How was your holiday?
Well, it started off here. Golf is every day is a holiday for golf. So we were open and we were full, and so we had to manage that. We also had a big party for the community in the parking lot of the golf course in Clubhouse 2 that we had to manage. There's a big parade that comes and ends up at Clubhouse 2, so we had to manage that, and everything came off very well.
Oh,
and
that's fun. Were there any crazy golf carts decorated, or?
About 100. They were pretty crazy.
That many golf carts, that's amazing.
It was interesting, the Republican Club and the Democratic Club were only 2 carts away, so I don't know how that worked out the rest of the day. But as they were coming through, I thought that would be interesting when they got to the parking lot.
Well, we all just have to respect for each other, right?
I hope so.
That's wonderful. So I wanted to give some updates about the summer hours, or how is it different for during the summertime?
Well, in summertime, we talk a lot to people just so they're aware. The golf course transitions and grasses do differently in different times of the year. Our greens are what's called Poa annua. And Poa, when the cool weather, they do very, very well. So most of the year, the greens are very fast, they're very true. But in the summertime, Poa doesn't like the heat. So the few months of the year where we get the stagnant heat, they tend to get a little bit slower. So we just want to make sure that everybody is reminded that the greens are not going to be the pace that they are in the winter and the summer. We did succumb a few years ago, before I took complete control of the operation, to the people wanting the greens to be faster, and we almost killed them.
Oh, wow.
So the greens are going to be a little bit slower. We're going to roll them. We're going to keep them true, but they're not going to be as fast as they are in the winter.
So that means like the overturn of them growing faster? Is that what when you say faster or slower?
Right. So what happens is when we can mow the grass down short, we can get them very, very fast. A lot of the best golf courses in the world have greens of a similar grass type than we have.
Oh, okay.
So we can actually get them, since they're very healthy, the growth isn't happening as much, so we can actually keep them very flat and very smooth. In the summertime, if we try to get them down, the roots will actually burn.
Oh,
and that's what happened.
Because of the heat, okay.
Because of the heat, and we have to keep water on them so they'll get softer, and the mowers can actually scalp them down.
Okay.
And also some of the sides of the fairways, since there's a mixture of grasses, like on most golf courses, we have a predominant kikuyu base, but there's also some Poa and some Bermuda. And the Bermuda will actually grow very, very well in the heat. But the Poa tends to die off in the heat. So there's some areas that you'll see around the course that are maybe a little bit off color and that we've had to do some aerification processes for. That'll tend to fill back in with the kikuyu once that takes effect. But there's going to be some small changes. But overall, the golf course is in extremely good shape. And for the summer, we just want to make sure people are aware of that.
Yeah. And now, will there be any, do you have to close any holes at any time to do any of the maintenance process, or it'll be able to stay open all summer?
We have an emergency plan in action if we do get some excessive heat for a number of time, where we do close 9 holes for probably an entire week. We haven't had to do that yet, but we did, because of what happened with the greens that one year. We did go to the boards and ask them to just give us the right to do that if we have to, because we do have a normal rotation where every Thursday we close one of the 9 holes. Okay. Just to do the basic maintenance. So we have plenty of time to do what we need to do. And if there was ever an emergency or something that's a one-offer, then we would act accordingly.
Okay. Now, is there, of the 9 holes that make up the professional course, any of those that people like the best?
Well, course 1 and course 2 are what people strive to play for. Course 3 can be, they're all very different. They're all very challenging, but course 3 has some holes that are a little bit shorter.
Okay.
So some people, prefer to play, and some of the people actually prefer to play course 3 because it is shorter. Our population is varying in age, and the average age is in the 70s. So obviously, I know my club head speed has gone down. I don't hit the ball as far as I used to. So, people can go out and on course 3 and actually really enjoy a round of golf without without playing really long holes. Course 1 is the longest of the 3.
Okay.
Course 2 is got some really good challenging holes, but people tend to want to play courses 1 and 2. And the 9-holers, people that just like to play 9, tend to gravitate to course number 3.
Okay, interesting. So, and then you guys are doing the driving range restoration project. What's happening with that?
The driving range restoration project was a little bit delayed. You know, with the weather that we had early in the year, there was some challenges that the vendor that we had with the projects that they had all lined up, just the timing of them all, because everything kept slipping behind. I think we all remember how many days we spent indoors watching the rain tumble down.
Yeah.
You know, week
There's
after week.
a lot of rain this year.
It was
Yes.
a lot of rain. It's a great thing, you know. And you know, we were just talking about being up in Mammoth Mountain, and there's going to be plenty of snow in the reservoirs, plenty of water in the reservoirs, because of how much snow there was. So what happened is that contractor that we hired to do the project got a little bit behind. So there was about 3 weeks to a month where there wasn't a lot of activity going on the range. So they're a little bit behind, but right now what they've done is they've actually prepared the soil, they've tilled the soil in, they've smoothed it out, and the grass is currently growing. So we hope it'll germinate on schedule, and we can try to catch up on some lost time. And once it does start growing, which it is now, we are going to have some nets placed up over at the driving range, so people can continue to at least warm up a little bit before they go and play, or work on their swings a little bit, or take a lesson and not have to go off property.
Oh, okay.
And
so right now there's no like plan B for while this is under restoration?
Well, there was a plan B, and there's a facility up the street that has a great program. There's nothing particular to Laguna Woods, but has a great program. It's like $40 for a month, and you can hit up to 100 balls a day if you want to.
Oh, nice.
And it's just up the street. And I worked a deal out at Oak Creek Golf Club over in Irvine, which is where I have some friends there, and they get member pricing on range balls if they want to go practice there. But now the net should be in here this week or next. We should have them set up, and people can at least just hit balls.
Yeah. Oh, wonderful. That's great. Any other things that we need to know for the golfing or for this summer to play there or anything?
Oh, sure. I mean, the golf, people play a lot of rounds of golf, so there's not a whole lot. The system is going really well. You know, what I would ask people to do, and this has been out there for quite a bit, is just in booking reservations. People have found a little chink in the armor, as it were, in the booking system that we have, and they're able to book duplicate tee times, or they're booking tee times and not updating them. You know, and I think everybody out there really knows that from a customer service standpoint, we want to be able to help everybody. We do between 300 and 500 people a day that come through the golf course. Wow. And we really want to take care of everybody. So all we really ask is that people use the system the right way, that they come prepared to the golf course when they know who they're going to play with, that if they're going to ask the starter to have a 5th player added to their group, that they do so ahead of time. When they know who's going to be playing in their group, they communicate that to the golf shop so we can be ready. And if you say, I have the 8-12 starting time, we know who's playing in that group. Because what happens is there's groups of people that make tee times together, and they all make tee times, and then they pass them out basically in their front room, but they don't tell us.
Yeah.
So when they're showing up to the pro shop, the starter has this person in front of them who's not listed on the sheet and is asking to play, and they can't find them, and the line behind them just continues to grow while this negotiation goes on.
Okay.
If they know who's playing, just call us, and we can update it, and everything goes really, really smoothly.
Makes it run more smoothly.
And it's good. It's best for everybody.
Yeah.
But other than that, the people have been great. The transition to the online tee times was a tough couple of months when we did it back in 2020. Okay. But once it was done, it's been great. And we want to thank everybody for spending some time and getting that done. And now
use it.
And now the only thing that we have is new people coming in.
That's great.
And it works out really well.
Oh, good. Wonderful. And then you have some updates to give us about the garden center. You're overseeing that project as well.
Yeah, what happened when we had a new recreation director take over, and we kind of found out that there was really nothing between the director and the staff. And so there's 1,100 people that have garden plots. And so I have a really, really good team, and I told her that I think the best thing for us to do is to let us take it over. You know, I'm a good manager of things, a lot about gardening. My mother's a master gardener, so I call her every once in a while. But,
Nice.
but I have two really good coordinators, a really strong head professional, and we're able to take a lot of the things that needed to be organized with it and create a whole better environment over there. So we've done that. The database has been created. My coordinator was able to really work with staff to get that done. And now all we're working on that we're asking all the garden center folks to do is to take care of your plots. Because what happens in a lot of these cases is that people are letting the weeds grow, people are letting debris, you know, pile up inside their plots, and it's a lot like your HOA at home, where you have one house in the neighborhood that has got a car parked in front of it and a refrigerator dumped on the lawn and everybody else's house. It's not a property value thing, but it's the same idea.
Yes. Okay. So everybody make sure to keep your plots clean.
Please.
Thank you so much for joining us. Stay with us, because coming up we have Larry Kurtz with the Orange County Fire Authority. We'll be right back.
Dr. Farhumand and her associates at Brilliant Smile are excited to announce we now feature cone beam computed tomography. CBCT scans have many benefits over traditional X-rays. They are fast, safe, non-invasive, and provide better care to our patients. The 3D images provide an accurate view of teeth, bones, and soft tissue. It allows us to diagnose and treat more effectively. Also, it features modern diagnosing of sleep apnea by checking the airways and obstructions. Get started today. Call Brilliant Smile, Laguna Woods Village favorite dentist.
This is one of our typical Type 1 fire engines here. These lines are 1 3/4 lines. We call them pre-connect lines. The reason we call them pre-connect lines is because obviously they're pre-connected into the fire apparatus. We don't have to hook them up to any of the discharges. We just pull them off and they're ready to go. They're 200 feet in length and they're capable of up to 200 gallons of water per minute coming out of these lines. The hoses are double jacketed. What that means is there's actually an outer core and an inner core. Obviously inside of a burning building you have a lot of high temperature. A typical hose isn't going to make it, so we have to make these hoses extra thick. The engineer, the person who drives this apparatus, actually has to run all these dials. These are pounds per square inch. He has to do a lot of mathematics. He has to figure out the coefficient of flow through these lines, and he has to figure out exactly how much pressure he needs to pump water through these in order to get the right fire flow to the firefighters at the end of the line. Each of these rigs carry 500 gallons of water. Now, 500 gallons seems like a lot of water, but when you consider that our nozzles on the average have 150 gallons per minute, you can do the math at home and you can figure it's not going to last very long. And so what we have are these intakes. These intakes, what they do is they bring water into the rig. And so what they do is once we're going to run low on water, we can bring water in from a fire hydrant, and then we have an unlimited water supply. Basically, this is like a large pool pump. But instead of pumping about 10 to 15 gallons per minute as the typical pool motor, this is capable of 1,500 gallons of water per minute. Coming over here, this is one of our, what we call this is a forcible entry prop. Okay? What this is, we can move this from building to building. What this mimics is breaking into a door. Obviously, when we come to houses, the doors are sometimes locked. We don't have a master key to every single door, so sometimes we have to break these doors open. What we can do is we can actually put these pieces of wood in here and they act as deadbolts. And then what we do is we actually use these tools to help break the door. This is called a Halligan tool. Okay, so what you have here is a pointed end that can actually smash a lock in. Right here is an adze end that you can actually use to pry a door completely off of its hinges. And so this is the pry end, and we can actually use this also to take the door off. And we use this to actually force open the door. So the door is closed. What they do is they come up to the door and they actually smash this door with these tools, and the door finally slides open, and that allows us to make entry into the house. Now sometimes at houses the doors are not always the best ways to get into a building. The door is a very solid structure. But if you go just to the left or to the right of the door, sometimes you have just drywall. Sometimes it's faster to get through a window. We just go through and unlock the door. So going down this way, what we have is a utility line. Now, firefighters carry these utility lines. Now, what they do is they usually tie them to a door. And when they go in to search a building, you know, obviously it's smoky, they're not familiar with the door, so they have to find a way to get out. They just simply tie this to the door, and it's our breadcrumb trail, so to speak. So we go into the building, we have this stuff with. This is almost 200 feet of line. We can go into a building, we can search a building, and if we get in trouble, we can find our way out. The hose lines also are a way out as well. Obviously, you know what, the hose line leading out of the house leads out to the fire engine. So, now these doors like these, if we were to come up against them, sometimes, like you see, these are metal doors, sometimes it's easier just to break the glass. Now, although we are going to be demolishing this building eventually, we're not going to break the glasses for this devolution right now. So sometimes the best way through is just simply through the glass. Now, the truck company, what makes it different is the large ladder up on top. The truck company is different and carries a lot of the specialized tools that you don't typically see. This carries the jaws of life. We have the chainsaws, and we have the circular saws. Now these chainsaws that we have here, this is what we use to cut roofs open. Now these chainsaws, the chains on them are very, very special chains. They're called Raptor chains. They cost almost $200 per chain. And they're very, very sharp. They'll go through almost anything. And this is what we use. We have two saws here. And we actually have the ladder that'll go up 75 feet up on top. And it'll allow us to get up on top of the roof. Now the truck not just carries the ladders that are up on top, it also carries ladders in the back. We have several hundred feet of ground ladders that we can utilize. So if the truck can't get right next to the fire building, we can utilize these ground ladders to actually get up to the top. And just like the fire engines, the truck companies also carry supply hose and attack hose. This is 2.5-inch line, and this is 4-inch line. This is typically what we use to hook up to the fire hydrants to supply the truck. All of our truck companies have pumps on them as well. They can do the exact same thing that fire engines can do. They don't have quite as much water. These truck companies only carry about 300 gallons of water, where the engines carry 500 gallons of water. But what we lose in water, we gain in the amount of tools that we can carry on board these trucks. So coming around this way, some of the other things that you may not know on a truck. Okay, these are what we call our this is our extrication kit system. Okay, these carry what we call the jaws of life. Some of you may be familiar with seeing these. Okay, what these are. We use these on auto extrication. What they do is they actually we utilize these to tear cars apart. We actually disassemble a car around a victim. And so that's what the truck company carries on board. It's run by hydraulics, and they're very, very strong. We have things that can spread, things that can pinch, things that can move metal. And so what we do is we actually try and disassemble the car around someone. This is specific to the truck companies. The engine companies don't carry these, but the truck companies do. Another one of the things, just like the fire engines, we have the intakes and the discharges, and this is where the truck can actually send water. And just similar to the fire engines, you've seen them deployed on the other rig earlier in the broadcast, and this is how they're stored on the truck when we're not utilizing them. Here we have our hydrant wrenches here, and these are our supply hookups that we use to hook up to the fire hydrant when we're going to be hooking up to the truck company. Inside the cab, these are where the firefighters sit. We have the capability of having 5 firefighters inside the cab. The truck companies and engine companies typically carry between 3 and 4 firefighters each. The truck companies almost always carry 4. This is the captain's seat. This is where he has a mobile data computer in the front. It gives the address and how to get to calls. It's basically our very large Garmin system to help us find where we're going to. Coming around to the front here. This is one of the tools we use to make entry into a building. This is called a breathing apparatus. This thing has been in business in the fire service for a little over 25 years. It was initially created by NASA, was one of the first people who invented this. This breathing apparatus can carry 30 minutes of air. Each one of these bottles will carry 30 minutes of air. It works very similar to a scuba tank in that instead of swimming underneath the water, the firefighter can walk around on dry land with this. Once he's out of air, what he can do is the bottle can be actually ejected from the rack, and a new bottle can be inserted in without the firefighter having to disassemble and remove the BA from his back. That is going to save us a whole lot of time. So on this side of the truck, it's very similar to the engine. The same controls, the same dials, the same switches. Anything that a truck can do, an engine can do. Anything that an engine can do, a truck can do when it comes to pumping water. As I said, all these different switches that may seem very complex, but the concepts are very simple. The engineers, those are the guys that drive the fire engines and the fire trucks, and they also operate the pump. That was just a quick overview of some of the equipment the Orange County Fire Authority uses to help put out fires and help you be safe in the community of the County of Orange. I'm Fire Captain Larry Kurtz, Public Information Officer of the Orange County Fire Authority. Thank you for your time and watching.
Today is Wednesday, and that means movie day. So let's take a look at the preview of the upcoming movies this weekend. On Friday, we're going to have Apollo 13. That's being brought to you by Providence Mission Hospital. This movie is directed by Ron Howard and starring Tom Hanks, Bill Paxton, and Kevin Bacon. You know, if there's a movie with Ron Howard and Tom Hanks, it's going to be a good one. If you haven't seen this one before, or if you have, you're definitely going to want to catch that one. It's a really great movie. For Saturday, Saturday's movie is Big George Foreman, starring Chris Davis, Jasmine Matthews, and Sullivan Jones. This film is about the life and boxing career of George Foreman and is being brought to you by Memorial Care. So 2 great movies coming up this weekend. And now a recap of our weather. Today it is going to be mostly sunny, as just from the beginning of the show, was more and more sunshine can be seen. With a high of 76 today, low of 57. We'll continue to have fog come in the evening time around 11 p.m. and stay in the morning, and then it burns off. Tomorrow we'll have sunny skies again with a high of 75, a low of 58, and then the clouds will start coming in a little bit more on Thursday night with partly cloudy on Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. So that's a look at your weather. Tomorrow on this day, we'll have an update with the Thrive Group, plus Dan and Sunshine will be here with Fit Brain Club. So another great show coming your way tomorrow. That's it for today here on This Day. I'm Bobby Higgins. Have a great day.
Did you hear the big news? The FDA announced the over-the-counter hearing aid program. It's been 6 years in the making. And what does that mean to you if you wear hearing aids or if you're thinking about wearing hearing aids for the first time? Most people are asking themselves, what is an over-the-counter hearing aid? Would it work for me? Where do I get them to try? How much do they cost? For over 40 years, Advanced Ear Care has been helping answer questions just like this. Call us today and find out more. And remember, tell them Stuart sent you.
Where would you go if you could go anywhere? What would you do if you could do anything? How would you fill your days? Who would you spend them with? When you retire, what will you explore? Let us show you how a complete retirement plan can open your world to endless possibilities. Explore your retirement.